to Warlord Card Gamer, and today we're going to be doing another failed attempt at a Warlord Wednesday, but we're going to get it out there just because we need to. So, this is, it's been a while. This is Artek. You are not... Alright, so, yeah, Artek. Somebody suggested that we review a deck of his, and I happen to have a deck of his. I've actually had this deck for a really long time, which means it's probably not nearly as competitive as it should be. And it's also originally designed to be an open deck. So it's easily modified to be an Ancients deck. The only difference is actually this guy. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see, we'll try that. This is the Ring of Piercing, which is a super powerful card, and that changes everything in the whole strategy of how you use this deck. So this guy is amazing because his ability says, order, move forward 1 rank. And for those of you who are more game inclined, you'd realize that it's not once per turn, which means that he can do that as often as he wants. So this guy is, he's actually my one-man army deck. And the Ring of Piercing helps him make that the reality. Now, the Ring of Piercing in open may begin equipped to your Warlord, not in Ancients. In Ancients, you can have it in your deck, but you cannot start with it in play. And what it does, it says, you may not play characters from your hand normally. So basically, you are prohibited from playing any characters. So the point of this deck, originally, is to start with this equipped, and it's a 6-man army. So basically, you have your starting army, and that's it. That's all you have. So it's basically just a big boom. It's a cannon of an army. And the second ability is super interesting because it's kill one of your characters before a melee strike. So basically, that gives you 5 extra strikes. The fact that he has free movement means that you get to go to the front rank in the first turn. So you're basically guaranteed, give or take, so there's 2 base strikes, they're super powerful, the +14 and the +9, and then up to 5 more strikes. The Gundos are really powerful because they have the ability, order once per turn before Gundo suffers a wound. Gundo gains +5 attack, 1 hit point, and +1 level until end of turn. So basically, super powerful level 1 Nothrog character. Turn it into or away? Away. There you go. Okay, so Gunda. Super powerful level 1 Nothrog, very good for rank stability, especially in the first turn, because it's very hard to kill him. And then once you put that 1 wound on it, it's very frustrating to try and kill it, because it's like, well, at the end of the turn, it's going to die anyway. And so you want to kind of distribute the wounds, and so you'll do 3 wounds to Gundas, but you won't actually kill them in the first turn. And they're actually going to be a lot stronger. Those +8s are definitely going to be hitting you, or almost definitely going to be hitting you. The last thing that Artek has that's really powerful is he has power attack included, which basically means that you can roll a d20 to see if you do an additional wound for a certain strike. So you can do 2 wounds on any 1 strike, possibly. His biggest weakness is this card, Infinity's End. There? Yeah. Okay, Infinity's End is basically, it's a big text, but what it means is that any character or any character that does the same action twice in 1 turn will receive 2 wounds. So because of the fact that he has that same order and he does it at least twice to get to the front rank, you have 2 of these in your opening hand, and that is a dead Warlord and a good game. So in open, that is very frequently used because there are lots and lots and lots of decks that play that. All right, we're back. So yeah, the biggest weakness to Artek is his weakness to Infinity's End. Anyway, so basically most decks that play Artek in Ancients usually don't play with the Ring of Piercing, or you can't play with the Ring of Piercing equipped, and that would mean that obviously you do want to have, there's tons of blitzy level 1 and level 2 Nothrog characters that are worthwhile putting into this deck. Now again, because I designed it as an open, I don't have that because the idea is to start with this in play. But it's still Ancient playable, or Ancients playable. The one card that I'm missing that definitely matters. All right, so the one card that definitely matters that I don't have on hand right now, and that I didn't realize, and I think a lot of people didn't realize how powerful it was until recently. The last online tournament challenge definitely showed its power, and that is the Ghost Steel Gauntlets, these guys. So I don't have one physically right now, but basically what it says is spend any items. It's an order, you can do it multiple times, so again, not great for Infinity's End, but it says spend X items equipped to this fighter and perform a +0 melee strike against target level X character. So essentially, if you've got like 5 items on you, you can just spend all 5 of them to do a melee strike, a +0 melee strike against a level 5 character, or you can spend each of those items individually and do 5 +0 melee strikes against 5 level 1 characters. Obviously, you can't control what you're fighting against, but especially with a deck that you expect to be in the front rank on the first turn, it is very useful to consider that you're going to be at least swinging at 2 or 3 level 1 characters. And so those are relatively free and easy strikes. And obviously, if you have more items on, you can spend 2 items to do against level 2 character and everything. And all of your items also apply to those strikes, of course. All right, so what do I have in the deck? Other than these level 2 characters, this is Order once per turn performing plus a melee strike with an attack of +3. So it's just basically you can spend her forward and then she can still strike. And Skash says, react before Skash dies, target Nothrog's melee strikes, inflict an additional wound until end of turn. So that guy's pretty powerful because, especially with the ring on, you can kill him. So you can hopefully attack with him, but if you can't, you kill him, and then you can do double 2 wounds for the end of the until the end of the first turn with all of your strikes. And so if you're generating 10, 15 strikes, you can be doing a lot of damage. So let's get these out of the way, and we'll start looking at the deck. Okay, so the first card that we're going to be playing with is Giant Strength Potion. This is a very basic strikey card, and that is basically throw it away, and you get a melee strike. Discard the Giant Strength Potion for a +10 melee strike that inflicts an additional wound. So that is a super powerful strike. So the next item that we have is I have 2 War Maces in this deck. This fighter gets +2 attack for each charge on the War Mace, and react after performing a melee strike that hit. You put a charge on the War Mace, and then Order remove 3 charges before a melee strike. So you can keep generating more strikes. The Nothrog Psych is an awesome card that's been around for a long time, and it basically says, react after an opposing character moves within 1 rank of this character, spend the Psych before a melee strike targeting that character. So obviously you're going to be breaking ranks, and so if something falls forward, that lets you do another strike, and so you also have a lot of tempo, so it's a super powerful card. Another card that's fallen out of grace for a long time now recently is Gloves of Mercy. I really like them. You do an additional wound whenever you do strikes, and you can spend it to, instead of doing wounds, stun the opposing character. So in a worst case scenario, if you're like on your last strike and you want to basically, you know, hold the game, hold down the fort, you can stun them instead of actually doing any wounds, and that gives you 2 turns to usually or generally be able to continue damaging them. I've got 2 Notwicks in the deck. Something that's important to consider here is that I am considering this deck was designed around the idea of basically only having 1 turn, maybe 2 turns to play the game. And so there are a couple multiple cards that aren't that useful or particularly important. But yeah, Notwick is great because that lets you get back cards like Giant Strength Potion, so you can do another strike. The Invulnerability Potion, not one of my favorite cards, but definitely something that a lot of people like, and this goes really well with one of the actions. It says discard the card, and you give this character +2 AC and +4 hit points until the turn. So that goes with this action. Reckless Abandon, so we have 3 of them in the deck. Spend order perform spend X fighters in your army until end of turn. This fighter gains X HP and the ability Order suffer a wound performing melee strike. Until end of turn, this character's wounds may not be removed or reduced by action cards. So the whole point of this, obviously, is to be able to give him as many hit points as possible so that he can keep doing wound to himself and then striking. Then we have a Crux Steed, just in case you survive more than one turn, and that is spend to be able to do a strike. Mirth Training, only 1 of these in the deck. And that is spend it after melee strike targeting you. It's basically a riposte. You can now perform a melee strike against the person who targeted you. We've got 3 Havatland Stances. This is probably super out of date right now, but I still like them. It gives you an extra strike. So that would be 1 extra +1 melee strike, sorry. Bloodthirsty, super basic extra strike. Whenever you kill something, you play this as a react, and you get to play another strike equal to the one that you just had, or you just used. 3 Exhaustion, which is obviously super powerful for everything. You spend anything basically and cancel an action or spend an opposing character. With My Last Breath, so we have 3 of these. This is the same thing kind of as the Invulnerability Potion, which gives you an extra 2 hit points until end of turn. So it gives you more opportunity to use those Reckless Abandons. We've got 3 Outmatched, which is basically the same thing as the Nothrog Psych. So you basically get to react after an opposing character comes into within 1 rank of your character, and you get to strike them. So that's awesome as well. Super tempo, great card. Great Cleave, very basic card, came from the first set, and this is basically just additional wound outright. You don't have to do anything. It's just a react targeting something. You do a wound to it. So that can mean the difference between winning and losing. We've got Bear Soul. This is a repeating melee strike. Basically, you get to discard it, perform a melee strike, and it shuffles into your deck once you've used it. So it just keeps going and going and going. free strikes. Those are always good. We got 3 of those. Lastly, we have 3 meat at the ends. Always great. We need more cards, so the more cards we get, the more strikes we generate in this deck. And the very, very last card is a No Prisoners. No Prisoners is a react card. It was pretty powerful during the CE age or range of time. It's a react after performing melee strike that killed its target, performing a melee strike targeting any characters that were adjacent to the original target with a -3 penalty to each strike. So it's basically a Bloodthirsty, which is over here. It's another Bloodthirsty, but it's ×2. So you get to do against any characters that were adjacent to the original character that has been killed. So yeah, that's basically the deck. I'm sure that there's plenty of ways to make it better. If you have any ideas on how to make this better, please drop them below. And I will see you guys next time. Like and subscribe if you want to see any more videos like this, and make any suggestions for any future decks that you want me to review.